Hello everyone, my name is Feba and I'm a nurse who's recently moved to the UK. Many people think that being a nurse in the UK is an unachievable task, or it's very difficult to do, but I want to tell you that it's not as complicated as you think, and at present it's a good opportunity for nurses to come into the UK because most of the hospitals bring a lot of nurses, including taking all their expenses. So at present it's really good opportunity for nurses to come over to the UK. And many friends have asked me, what is the process, is it difficult, and how long will it take, and questions like that. So I'm just hoping to give you a brief information about how the processing is and what all I had to do from my experience point of view. And let me just reassure you, if you can pass nursing from our country, then you can easily just give some hard work and do this as well. So coming to the basic requirements of being a nurse here in the UK, one of the things you need is obviously your nursing course completion, and you will require the registration certificate in your place of experience from your country. The second thing you will need is your language requirement. Being an English speaking country, the UK expects you to have a minimum knowledge of the English language, which is why you will have to take either the IELTS exam or the OET exam. And another requirement that you require is your experience. Until recently, they used to ask a fixed amount of experience, but at present, the NMC has changed their rules, and they have mentioned that nurses who have just passed out can also apply for the NMC registration and come over as well. But then some hospitals might, as a personal request, require you to have at least 1 year of experience. That depends from hospital to hospital. But as such, experience is not an issue for NMC registration right now. So coming to the process, the first thing, like I said, is your nursing certification and registration. So you need your registration from the place where you have worked and also from the place where you have studied. Second thing is your IELTS or your OET. IELTS, the score would be 7 overall, 6.5 in the writing and 7 in every other module. OET will require you to have a band of B in all the written modules as well. So that's your English language requirement. And remember, if you're writing IELTS, you will have to write the academic version and not the general version. Many people have asked, what is the difference between IELTS and OET? What is the difference between IELTS and UKVI? So things related to that and a little more detail about the language requirements, I will be putting it in another video. But if you have any doubts regarding that, feel free to put it in the comment box. So I will try to include all those as well in the video. So once you've finished your language requirement, you need to start applying for your interviews. At present, there are a lot of interviews that hospitals are doing online as well through Skype. They also conduct interviews by sending their representatives into various countries and doing direct face-to-face interviews. So if possible, try to book an interview which is either Skype or through a video chat, or something that's a direct interview. And once you apply for the interviews, they'll give you a particular date. Go for that, attend the interview. There's nothing to worry at all. They'll be asking you questions only based on the experience that you have had from your nursing experience. So it's not generally a very tough interview to attend. But just attend the interview, and once you've cleared the interview, the employer will be sending you a temporary offer letter. Which will say that is a conditional offer letter. That means they'll be just mentioning what your pay scale might be, what are the conditions of their offer and things like that. That's not the final offer letter. But once this is completed, what you need to do is go to the NMC website. NMC is the Nursing and Midwifery Council of the UK. You need to go to their website and start up a profile and register yourself in the website, like how you register for any website online. So you need to enter your basic details and fill up all the columns that they need you to fill up. And The first step of your NMC registration is something called as a CBT exam, which is simply expanded computer based test. This is an exam that you have to take. It will have 120 multiple choice questions. It is done via the computer. There might be different centers available based on where you are, so you need to go to the particular center and you will do this exam through the computer. There are places that provide specific training for CBT exams. You can attend any of those trainings. You can also sit at home and study for it yourselves. It's not that much a complicated exam. So you can just prepare for yourself by refreshing all your basic nursing knowledge. So you write the exam and you will get the result within a couple of hours through email, or you can go back into the NMC website and check what your exam result is. So once you've passed that particular exam, your NMC website will show you what your next stage of processing is. This will be the time when you have to submit all the documents that they have required for. Documents in the sense, it might be your passport, your basic details regarding your birth certificate. It might require you to submit police clearance certificates, some details regarding your education and your experience, your registration and the medical fitness as well. So some of these documents are what we already have, and that needs to be uploaded on the website. In some of the requirements, you might have to download a particular form, and it might need to be filled and sent via post to the NMC. For example, you might need to send a form to your college where you have studied. They might have to fill it and send it to the NMC, or you might need to download reference forms if you're showing your experience and send it to your previous employer, where they have to fill it and send it to the NMC. The council where you have registered for your nursing in your country, they might have to fill a form and send it. So it will clearly be specified what documents are to be downloaded and sent via post. So it's all very clearly mentioned in the website. But if you have any doubts, feel free to ask, and I will be able to answer the questions or doubts that you have regarding that as well. So this is quite a long process, because it might take you some time to collect all the documents that you require for this. So you need not hurry at all. Take your time, make sure you're submitting all the right documents. And once you have submitted all these documents, at the end of your application, it will say submit application. Once you have submitted the application, please remember you will not be able to make any changes to what you have already done. So make sure all the details you filled is correct. Once you're happy with it, submit the application. Immediately after you submit the application, your application goes into a queue, and that is what will be shown in the NMC website. They will mention that you are in a queue and that it will take around 40 working days for them to give you a reply. When they say 40 working days, that might be around a 1.5 to 2 month time period within which they will be verifying all the documents that you have submitted, and if they have any clarifications that they require, they will be contacting you via email for those clarifications, and you will just have to reply them via email to give the clarifications that they have asked for. So once all that is done, they will be sending you something called a decision letter, which is a letter that explains that you are qualified, or they consider you as a qualified candidate to work in the UK, and that your documents have been verified. So once you get that decision letter, the next thing that you need to do is send a copy of that to your employer or to the particular hospital that has given you your conditional offer letter. They will then have to prepare something called a certificate of sponsorship, or COS, which is the basic document that is required for you to start your visa application to come to the UK. So some hospitals have a required amount of time which they need to prepare that document and send it back to you. So once that document is sent back to you, some hospitals use your details and ask you when you're willing to travel and give you an appointment by themselves for the visa application. They themselves will fill everything and pay all the charges and just give you the application date when you need to go for the appointment at VFS office, that is Visa Facilitation Services. Based on your place of origin or where you are, they might be able to book an appointment according to that. Some employers ask you itself to fill all the details and take the appointment yourself, but they will be refunding it once you come back into the UK. So that's one thing that you need to do. So once all that is done, you have to get all your documents and go to the appointment at VFS Center. Along with these documents, what you need to submit is also your TB test, which proves that you are free from TB. Again, that depends on the place that you are. There are a list of countries that do not require a TB test. There are a list of countries that require it. So based on where you are, you need to see if you need a TB test or not. If you do need it, there will be certain approved hospitals in your place which do this particular processing for the UK. So find out which is closest to you or which is feasible for you to go to. Take an appointment and get the TB test done. It will normally be just a chest x-ray that is done. So this is also required when you go to the VFS office. So along with all these documents, you go into the VFS office on your appointment date. You give all the documents there, and they will also take your biometrics, that is your fingerprint, and they'll take your photograph and things like that. And you will be submitting your passport there as well. Once you've submitted everything in the VFS office, they normally say around 15 working days for them to send the application to the embassy and then get your visa stamped into your passport. They will be sending it back through a courier service, and when you get the passport back in your hand, there's a couple of things that you need to look. The stamped visa will be just an entry permit into the UK, which will have a valid from and a valid to date. So you need to make sure what the date is, and you need to plan your travel within those dates. So you can send that to the employer and ask. Some hospitals take the ticket for you, so you just need to travel on the particular date. Some hospitals, like I said, might ask you to book the ticket yourself and they will be refunding it later. So you have to travel within that specified period of time and come to the UK. Once you come here, the hospital itself will be arranging for your travel to the hospital. They'll be booking your transport from the airport to your place of accommodation. Normally they might book for a couple of people to be traveling together, so you don't feel you need to travel alone. But even if you're traveling alone, there's nothing to worry. You've got all the documents with you, so there's absolutely nothing to worry. So they'll pick you from the airport and bring you to your place of accommodation, and the hospital will be taking good care of you. Some hospitals provide 1 or 2 months. Very few hospitals provide 3 months accommodation for you. So you can stay there during that particular time, and at that time you'll be having the final process of your NMC application, which is to write an exam called the OSCE, Objective Structured Clinical Examination. Hospitals will be giving you the training that is required for this particular exam, and they will be booking the dates for you to take the exam as well. So once you finish your training, you can go and write the exam. It's something similar to a practical exam that you might have done when you have done your nursing. So once the exam is completed, you will be getting your results in a couple of days, like 2 to 3 days. And once you have passed the exam, you can then go back to the NMC website, and you will have to pay a small fee which is required for your PIN number. That is the registration PIN number that you will get from the NMC as your registration. So immediately after you've paid the fee for it, just the very next day, you will be getting the PIN in your mail, and you can submit that to the hospital, and from that day onwards you will be considered as a band 5 registered nurse in the UK. So that's the final processing for you to be working here in the UK. And this is just a gist of how things are. It's not at all complicated. It might sound that there is so much to do, but it's quite okay. And it's something that is very achievable as well. So I hope this has been useful for you at least. If there's any doubts that you have, feel free to comment on it, and I will be doing further videos to clarify your doubts. A few of the videos that I'll be doing is regarding, like I said, the language requirements. I will be doing a video regarding OSCE as well to give you an idea what OSCE is. And if there's any other doubts that you have, I can do videos on that as well. So hope this has been useful for you, and thank you very much.